Well, as you can see, I'm about here in the back of my property, and I've cut down a number of black locust trees. Cut them down a couple weeks ago, and now I'm cutting them up into firewood. And if you look around, you can see that I've tried to cut most of the pieces in approximately pieces of 18 inches. I wanted you to take a look, see what I've done so far. So as you look over here, I've cut these logs up and cut them up. As you can see, they're more or less 18 inches. And the reason they're 18 inches is because the wood burning stove that these be used in is about 18 inches. So I don't want to cut it more than 18 inches, but the point is I'd like to make sure I'm really close. I want to be able to fill up the wood burning stove as efficiently as possible. So most people would say, yeah, if it's close to 10 inches, that's fine. Well, I'd like to go one step further. What I'd like to do is find out how well I'm doing. I've just been eyeballing the cuts, haven't been measuring it. It would be too inefficient just to have to measure every piece 18 inches and cut it. So I want to know how good my eyeballing has been. So what I want to do is do some statistics and find out exactly how well I've been making all the pieces very close to 18 inches. So let's turn around here and let me just measure a few. So looking down here, if I start measuring these pieces, and if I decide to measure these to like the nearest, say half an inch, okay, this one here is 19 inches, this one is, wow, 20 inches, this one is 20 and a half inches, this one is 20 inches, so I'm a little bit over 18 inches, and I imagine some of these are probably a little bit less than 18 inches. So what I'll do, I'll get a piece of paper in my pen, and I'll measure all these and get an idea how well I've done. So when we come back, we'll be sitting at the table taking a look at the information I've got. I got to thinking, there are 71 pieces of firewood here, and I really don't want to measure every one of those 71. So what I've decided to do is to collect a random sample of about 15 logs and measure those, and I think that information will give me a pretty good idea just from those 15 logs what the average length of my logs are. So what I want to show you here is how we can use our calculators to come up with a random sample. So the first thing I did was after I turned off the video, I arranged my logs in more or less rows, and as you can see, they were already in rows. So I put them in, so that all the logs were in some sort of rows, and I numbered them in an easy numbering system from log number 1 to log number 71. Okay? So once I've got that numbered, we'll now go to my calculator. Hopefully we can read this okay. Yeah, there's my calculator. And if you notice, there's a key here called the PRB key. If I press it, and it brings up some strange things that we'll get to later on the course, but they're not appropriate right now. If I press the right arrow key a couple times, 3 times namely, you notice it advances past the first 3 icons, and now it shows these two called RAND and RAND I. Let's advance it one more and go to RAND I. What this means is it will produce random integers. So let's choose this by pressing enter. Down here at the bottom of the screen, press enter. And now what it's asking for is, well, what's the range of integers you want to be chosen at random? Well, I want to randomly choose numbers representing my logs from 1 to 71. So I simply enter a 1, and then a comma. Comma is the second function of the right parentheses. So it's second function, right parentheses, and then I'll enter my 71, close parentheses. Now, at this point, every time I press enter, I will get a new random number chosen more or less at random on my calculator. for example, I'm going to press the enter key here, and I get the number 35. So if I do this 15 times, I will get 15 different random numbers representing the different trees. Now, it's possible, because this is all done at random, I could press it a number of times and I may get the same number comes up out of 15 times. In fact, that's pretty likely. So it may happen. So you see, as I keep pressing this, I get different values. And I will use this then to come up with my random sample of firewood logs to be measured.